So other exciting news, just gonna be real. This one I'm irrationally excited for. I'm gonna be upfront with you. 2K seems to be gearing up for a Mafia announcement, it's claimed. Hold me back, I'm gonna get excited. That's according to ex-user Kurakasis, who has proven to be a reliable source of leaks. This year alone, they revealed the titles of Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra, Marvel's rivals Metro Awakening, and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle prior to their official announcement. They also accurately predicted that Take-Two studio Ghost Story Games was planning a Judas reveal several weeks before a new trailer for the game was released. Quote, "I can tell you that a few days ago, Take-Two began preparations for an announcement regarding the Mafia series," he said on Tuesday. This was like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Take-Two began preparations. It's hard for me to determine the time frame, but with Judas, I've seen them gearing up for the new trailer about 3 to 4 weeks before it dropped. So, FYI, I specifically wrote an announcement regarding the Mafia series because I don't know if it's an announcement of Mafia 4, the next-gen update for Mafia Trilogy, or something else. When I find out more, I'll let you know. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. You guys know me. I love me. I love me some Mafia. You're right. Hype does make you stupid. Absolutely, Echo. Which is why we have to keep a level head. I think after Mafia 3, rightfully, many of us were spurned, were frustrated, pissed, dare I say livid about all of that. Because it was just across the board, it was a disaster. It was a wreck. Since it's been improved, I've played it, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It still has some weird eccentricities and clunk with it, but it's pretty good. I think if you like Mafia and the Mafia games, or if you like more narrative third-person adventure games, it's worth playing. It's worth checking out, especially because nowadays it might be on Game Pass, it might be $5 on Steam. Either way, I think it's worth checking out. But that being said, they burned a lot of goodwill with that when that dropped. However, Mafia Definitive Edition was so freaking good. It was like the triumphant return of a studio where you're like, where have you guys been? This is great. This came out of nowhere. It was so cool. So cool. So after Mafia Definitive Edition, I'm much more confident in their capabilities as a studio. And so I'm very interested in what they're working on. Of course, when we see it, we'll get a much better idea of what we're dealing with. But what we do know is that they've confirmed, actually back in August of 2022, that they are working on a new Mafia game. And they said, quote, "While it's a few years away and we can't share anything more right now, we're really excited to keep working on this beloved franchise and to retain our players with new stories." It's GM Roman Kladik said at the time. And then earlier that year, it was claimed that Hangar 13 was working on a prequel set before the events of the Mafia trilogy, which would be super cool. The last entry in the series, Mafia 3, released some mixed reviews in 2016. Mafia Definitive Edition saw the original 2002 game remade for modern consoles, and that was very well received. It was very good. So I think it times out well. I mean, we've seen, I think Mafia Definitive Edition, I want to say that was 2020. Yeah, September 25th, 2020. I would love to see them come back and start swinging with another big ol' Mafia game, because I for one, I love the setting. I just think that the settings are perfect for these games. I also kind of grew up on them. We played them when I was younger, so I've got a special place in my heart. I've got that bias there, but I love Mafia, and I would love to see them come back swinging with something new. And it seems like we're getting close. There's a couple things that people have brought up as like perhaps more concerns of things that should be pointed out. For example, the head of Hangar 13 left 2K back in May of 2022. So this was before they confirmed that they were working on another Mafia game, but it was Hayden Blackman is stepping down in order to, quote, pursue his passion at a new endeavor, according to an announcement initially shared internally by two staff at the studio. Yeah. Led Hangar 13, based at 2K's headquarters in the San Francisco Bay Area since the studio's formation, which was announced in 2014. Spent 13 years at LucasArts, where he served as studio head and franchise director before departing in 2010. It was also claimed in November that 2K had canceled a new title from Hangar 13, codenamed Volt. The project had reportedly been in development in various forms since 2017, but people said to be familiar with 2K's decision told Bloomberg that work on the unannounced project had ceased. So it seems like they were working on this game that was described as Mafia Studios' Cthulhu meets Saints Row game, and it just wasn't coming together, and they wasted $53 million on it and scrapped it, which I don't even really know what that means. Like, what is a Cthulhu meets Saints Row game? I mean, now after the reboot, that hits your ears and you're like, oh, you're like, oh no, man. But if you think of pre-reboot, if somebody said Cthulhu meets Saints Row, what does that mean? I think of like goofy open world game with Cthulhu. I don't know how that works. It earlier described Volt as an open world sci-fi title with supernatural elements, and Cthulhu meets Saints Row. They also outed a Marvel strategy game from Fireaxis, studio behind XCOM, 2 months ahead of the title officially being announced as Marvel's Midnight Suns. Yeah, it just seems like they were working on this. It got scrapped, and so people left as a result. But that could explain some of the delays in project releases and stuff. So the other thing was, with regards to this project specifically, was that there were layoffs. Yeah, it was hit with another round of layoffs. 50 developers were let go as of this week. This week was May of 2022. So it seems like right around late 2021, early 2022, they canceled that project and laid off 50, 60 people and just put all their eggs into the Mafia basket, which it's probably a safer bet. I just think like the tale of this console generation, unfortunately or not, is just going to be that AAA open world games, you just can't do it anymore. You just can't risk doing a big AAA $100 million game that might collapse. Like, it just doesn't work. You and Cthulhu team up to file for unemployment and make hot dogs? Dude, that actually low-key sounds fire. Now I'm pissed. That sounds awesome. It's probably for the best that it was canceled. Sounds like another lame live service. I mean, it does kind of sound like it has that potential. I've told you guys before, I tend to be much more forgiving when I hear that there's live service games that are like potentially being canceled, just because we've seen how many terrible games get launched. We've heard how many horrifying stories come out, and like we've played them. We've played these horrible games where you're like, how did this get greenlit? And that got across all the approvals. So just imagine how bad a game has to be for those same executives to say, no, we're not doing this. I think sometimes there are cancellations where it's made for strategic reasons. Like famously, or most notably recently, was the revelation of the Batman Arkham predecessor. Well, not really predecessor because it came after, but the Shadow of Mordor predecessor that would have been a Batman game with the Nemesis system. They canceled that because they didn't want two Batman games at the same time, two franchises in the Batman universe or separate universes going head to head at the same time, competing for attention. They wanted the Arkham series and they wanted to have something else over here. They didn't want Arkham series and then another Batman thing. And while I'm frustrated because I think Batman with an Arkham or with a Nemesis system would have made so much sense and would have worked so well, I get it. Like, I understand the strategic decision for that. But then there's other times where there's a game that just isn't working and they just decide to cancel it, and that does happen. I'm hopeful. I want more Mafia. I need another fix. He took my thing.